Hi everyone, Galena here. Here to talk to you about my first book report book, which was Atul Gawande's Being Mortal, Medicine and What Matters in the End. He is an Indian surgeon who is living out in New York, and he is addressing the issue that we currently face regarding how we treat our elderly during their final days, and even younger patients that happen to have to go in hospice. So, the main point he has is that medicine and medical school has taught us how to prevent illness, how to put band-aids on the problems that we have. And it is not teaching doctors and nurses, and it's not preparing the patients to have the crucial conversations necessary to instead know how to die with dignity, how to emotionally and mentally prepare for their last days, not just what happens when you die, but what happens when you break your hip and can no longer walk, what happens when you are no longer able to take care of yourself. And there's a lot of issues in the current system. He specifically addresses the two primary ways that we currently die, either in a hospital or in nursing homes and assisted living. And so there's a lot of case studies, and there are three main points that are applicable to leadership, and I'll kind of discuss them with you right now using some of his quotes. So the first point that applies to leadership is that we have no good metrics for places' success in assisting people to live. By contrast, we have a very precise rating for health and safety. So you can guess what gets the attention from the people who run places for the elderly, whether dad loses weight, skips his medication, has a fall, not whether or not he's lonely. So in this point, I would say the goal of leadership is not only that metrics matter, but at accurately measuring our success is important. So is your lab reaching its turnaround times? Great, you're in the green, but how is it affecting the emotional needs of your staff? Are you overworking them, understaffing them? What's going on? So metrics matter. The second point is people die only once. They have no experience to draw from. The doctors and nurses who are willing to have the hard discussions and see what they have seen and who will help them people prepare for what is to come and thereby escaping a warehoused oblivion that no one really wants. And so the point here is hard conversations are important. Crucial conversations are important, and as much as we want to avoid them, what makes you a good leader is that you are willing to have them. In his book, he addresses the two positive examples as the field of palliative care and hospice care. And he gives examples of how to actually talk to people and where even the slightest change in the way you say something can have an entirely different meaning. So crucial conversations are really important, and what you say and how you say it is really important. And then last but not least, the third point when it comes to Leadership Academy is culture has tremendous inertia, and that's why it's culture. It works because it lasts. Culture strangles innovation in the crib. Thomas, so this is based on an example of a doctor who saw the three plagues of nursing home existence: boredom, loneliness, and helplessness. And he set out to solve the culture around nursing homes, and those being the three plagues that are existent in them. And he did that by pushing really hard and filing the right grants to get children to come into the nursing home, to get every nursing home to have dogs, cats, and every single person there had a plant in their room and a bird. So got rid of boredom because the people had something to do, got rid of loneliness because there's children around, and the helplessness is because now, even though the elderly may not be able to walk across the hall, they can still wake up and take care of the bird, or if they can't even take care of the bird, they could at least report to the nurse exactly what happened, etc. So with that, culture matters, and figuring out a way, if you have a negative culture, how do we fix it? How do we make it better? Do I agree or disagree with the author's point of view? I absolutely agree with it. I think that we as a culture tend to shy away from death and thinking about end of life because even now we think we're going to live forever and it seems so far away and so morbid to try to plan for it. And I think if there's anything that this book has encouraged me is make the decisions now about how I'm going to treat myself towards the end of life, my family, my friends, etc. So it's a really hard read because it's tough stories, however, very educational. So I recommend it to everyone.